Welcome to Wrestling Chat with Friends, our Tuesday show. Thank you for the privilege of your time. I am EJ the Collector. Tonight, I'm joined by an original, an OG, one of the founding members of Wrestling Chat with Friends, King No Dollar Ty. Welcome back. Great to see you. How's it going, my man?
It's going good, man. It's going good. It's been a rough and tumble year, but it's 2024.
I hope it
It's
hasn't been rough and tumble
2024.
so far. It's been a rough week, but yeah, I mean, we're just getting started. 2023 was, in fact, rough and tumble in a lot of ways. Wrestling wise, though, it was a hot year, man.
Oh,
We're here to
the
talk about it.
unbelievable.
We're here to talk all about it.
I mean, it's a lot of things that happened. Unbelievable things that happened. A certain chick magnet came back.
That's right.
Uh,
Lots of
a
comings back, lots of goings.
lots of goings.
We're gonna get into it all. We're gonna focus tonight. We can go wherever you want to go because you're our guest tonight. We usually talk WWE on Tuesdays, but it's sort of open topic tonight about all things wrestling because wrestling. I don't know if you even saw today. Wrestling Twitter was on fire today. I don't know if you know about it. We'll talk a little bit about it. There was some beefing going on between executives, former executives. Lots of talent chimed in. We'll get to all that in a little bit. But WWE has been since really, I guess, the end of the summer, the fall. I mean, just scorching hot. They've come out hot out of the gate in 2024. We are in we are in Royal Rumble season on the
We
road
are.
to WrestleMania just about. You've requested, I mean, you reached out to Cheats, our producer, wanting to come on tonight. So anytime you're hitting us up saying you want to come in, I know you got something on your mind. So I am going to give you the mic right now, and I want to have you get into your topics, and I'm going to throw some questions at you. Just start like this. Royal Rumble is a few weeks away. There's one other pay per view before WrestleMania, and WWE is maybe as hot as ever. But here we go, Ty. Where are we today? The floor is yours.
Where are we today? It's Rumble season. It's the road to WrestleMania. It's
Where
I
are we
don't know,
today
man.
in terms of the story? What story is being told? What story is being given top priority? Maybe what should be. Give me your thoughts on the product as you see it today. What are you most excited about? What are you most complaining about? I know you've got lots of these takes, so take them however you take each topic however you want.
Yeah, it's we're gonna start with the good. I'm here. I'm here with good tidings. I'm here with good tidings. Um, can we just talk about first and foremost how it has been a complete 180 from what we were looking at last year around this time to where we are right now with
Remind me roughly what was the main thing going on a year ago. Now it was Bloodline. It was the Sammy story.
Bloodline,
It's the Sammy
Sammy
story.
story.
Uh,
Vince was still in power.
Cody was back. Cody was back.
Cody was back.
Clearly had his sights set on Roman, kind of just like he is now. But
Yes.
it wasn't at this point, at least last year, it wasn't fait accompli that he was going to face Roman at WrestleMania. He still had to win the Rumble.
And that's where I want to go to exactly.
Okay.
That he's this is going to be a not such a hot take, but a take nonetheless. He's not winning the Royal Rumble. He's
I
not winning the Royal Rumble.
we talked about this last week too with Tom. I don't think he's winning the Royal Rumble either. If I was predicting today, I think we'll do a prediction show maybe next week, but I don't think he's winning it either. Although I don't believe that automatically excludes him from facing Roman Reigns.
No.
There are alternate paths.
Yes, yes, yes. The elimination chamber. That very last one. That elimination chamber is going to be his key to get in. I mean,
Mhm.
right now the big story is going to it has to be Chick Magnet winning the Rumble, throwing out Drew McIntyre, and facing Seth Rollins so we can get him off our screens finally.
You, man, that's interesting. You said that, and by saying that, I'm assuming you're saying Seth, this Seth character maybe not is 100% doing it for you at the moment, if ever, and you want to see Seth do something different.
Seth is a chaser. Seth has always been a chaser.
Okay.
He once he has his what he's been going after, he gets boring really, really quick
Well,
because he always devolves into the happy-go-lucky, I just want to fight everyone and I'm happy to give everyone chances character. That's not that's not the character that everyone like fell in love with. They fell in love with that Joker-ish kind of unpredictable kind of character. Right now he's back to sad, bland Seth.
corporate Seth,
Yeah.
yeah. And you know what? I did not feel that way until last night. I sort of had the same kind of moment where I think it was when they were going to break. The first time they showed him walking, from the backstage, kind of towards the area. I saw his drip. His drip's always good,
It's
but
always good. Yeah.
the drip is now 2/3 of the reason to see what he's doing. It's 2/3 reason to see what he's wearing. It's if you're there live, it's literally 2/3 being able just to sing a song.
Yep.
Seth is I love Seth in a lot of ways. I think his characters have been great, from the Shield to being this corporate guy to when this current character began. It was cool, but just like you said, there is a point of diminishing returns with Seth more than I noticed with a lot of other characters. And for the first time last night, I sort of saw it too. So I'm kind of on board with you. Um, when Punk came back at Survivor Series, obviously because of some outside beef, this was what the feud was going to be, because it wasn't quite ready for Roman. Roman was busy with one and now two other challengers, and we'll get to that
Mhm.
too. But it seemed right, and considering Punk's reputation coming into WWE, how it had been in AEW, I didn't see him as a title winner or a champion out of the gate, especially against Seth Rollins. I've been surprised that they're seemingly setting it up for, like you said, for Punk to win this title. I thought he was just not going to get that immediately. And in fact, I thought he was going to be the guy coming in, getting the hype, giving great promos. But, if you saw the last handful of matches he had in AEW, I thought a guy that ultimately was going to put over Seth Rollins, or put over, maybe go on a string of maybe putting over younger guys, sort of like the way Adam Copeland seems to be doing in AEW. But yeah, that's a whole different thing. But Punk, I didn't see Punk getting that bag like it appears they're going to give it to him. I will say this: he's been on his best behavior, it seems.
Yeah.
You can talk to Mary, and I'll ask you this: what has been your impression of Punk since he's arrived? Were you shocked when because we haven't talked to you in a while? Were you shocked when it happened? I'm sure you saw all the rumors and innuendo, but until it really came on post-credit scene in Survivor Series, we and a lot of wrestling journalists and a lot of fans weren't sure it was going to happen. Are you glad he's back in WWE? And how do you think his run's been so far?
It is no it is no secret that I am not the biggest CM Punk fan.
That's right.
I think he's
Why?
overrated.
That's why I asked you that question.
I mean, he's one of the best talkers that have that we've seen in a while.
He
He's one
he
of the best
really
talkers.
makes
I
he
will always say
really
that.
makes you feel it, believe it, kind of in a way Cody does too. But man,
Yes.
like he is undoubtedly must listen to TV when he's on still.
But we don't love Punk because, or people don't love Punk because of, I mean, yeah, his promos are great. His wrestling matches are subpar, to say that. I mean, to me at least, they're subpar. It's his messiness. We love messiness. And
Hmm.
I'm just waiting for that messy Punk just to come back, because that's the Punk that I want to see. I don't
Yep.
want to see this corporate, I don't like to see in the smiley faces kissing babies Punk. I want to see the devil. I want to see I want to see AEW-ish Punk.
Uh-huh.
except without all the power going to his head.
I got you. Yeah, I got you. And again, we're in full agreement. I think his promo with Drew last night was excellent. Excellent for Drew. Excellent for Punk. Sets them up. Punk made a reference to himself being the devil. That I don't see that at all as a sort of subtle AEW shot. That's just I
No.
think that's the beginning of a tease, hopefully, to the heel Punk we might see in 2024. Because, like you said, that's who really we all love, and that's who blurs the lines the most, provided he doesn't let power get to his head or
Mhm.
his ego get out of control. That Punk is a disruptor, which is what made him fantastic 13 years ago. And yeah, who knows what we're going to see with him in 2024. But what you're clamoring for, as you stated, is you'd like to see Punk. You think he's going to win the Royal Rumble? Is that the? I don't
I
think
do
I don't
believe
think Punk needs to win. Well, I guess he has to win it because the winner's
he
going
ain't.
to face the winner's going to face a world title holder. We're both pretty sure it's not going to be Cody Rhodes. So yeah,
Yeah. He's not. He's not going through an elimination chamber. He's not putting his body to that. There's no way. No way.
no,
He's gonna put his body through that.
if you're Cody Rhodes, and we haven't even talked about the elephant in the room with Dwayne's return a few weeks ago. If you're Cody, I mean, I hope this was obviously discussed with him. If not, told him, if you're Cody Rhodes, how you feeling right now? When it looks like you may not. You still think he's going to get that? We might as well talk about it. The Rock has come in and sort of thrown everything into sort of disarray. WWE finds himself with 2 pay-per-views before WrestleMania
Mm-hmm.
and a ton of talent that they have to find room for, and they have this problem every year. But there is this variable now that you know the issue with The Rock seemed to have been put to bed when the strike was over. John Cena picked up, went back, said as much as he was going to anyway. The Rock was back, but everyone knew that this will be great as long as it lasts. But the strike's over, and January seemed like a really late time for this plan to be dropped on us. Do you have Rock fatigue too? Do you like you do with Seth? Like, do we need to see Rock in 2024, or any Rock is good Rock? And how do you see this playing out?
So I will say that January is the perfect time to start something for The Rock's last match to end where he began. SummerSlam.
Oh wow, you see Rock
Ev-
SummerSlam.
Everybody thinks it's going to be. It has to be WrestleMania. It has to be WrestleMania. It has to be WrestleMania. Where's SummerSlam happening at this year?
SummerSlam is happening. God, put me on the spot. I don't know where SummerSlam happening this year.
I believe it's. Is that one? Is that the one as in Australia?
No, Elimination Chamber is in Australia. That's the one after
Destination Champions on. So
the
where's SummerSlam? Have they announced SummerSlam yet?
SummerSlam August. Of course, they've announced it. Cheats, if you're in the studio there, look it up and tell us. But SummerSlam 2024. So you don't factor The Rock in any of these WrestleMania plans
Nope.
because the conventional wisdom said, Rock and Roman, you do that in one place only. WrestleMania, Cleveland, Ohio, is where SummerSlam's going to be this year.
Cleveland,
Um,
Ohio.
whew,
Just because, and hear me out right with this one.
okay.
You have to wind down Roman's reign, pun intended. He has to fall all the way down, and you have to lift up Solo somehow.
Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna make Roman a babyface. You're gonna make probably Solo a babyface after this, or the one that helps The Rock take out Roman Reigns, and then Roman can go away. But he has to start losing everything first. He has to have he has to lose Jimmy,
Yeah.
which he has to start losing Solo. He has to lose the belt. He has to feel like the head of the table, his tribal chief moniker is in trouble. Right now, he's not taking The Rock seriously. And really, who would? I mean, he's 50-something years old, cuts long-winded, meandering promos that no one really. I mean, the people alive, yeah, great, but it's the same thing every single time. He makes one side say the other one thing, the other side say the other thing, and that's 15 minutes of the promo.
Yeah, I hadn't really thought of. I mean, I just hadn't thought that scenario out. If you're going to bring The Rock out, first of the year and announce that he might go looking for the head of the table, and you've got I mean, you got WrestleMania season right around the corner. I mean, I think everyone immediately jumped to the fact, oh man,
Mhm.
well, Cody's not going to be headlining WrestleMania. It's going to be Rock and Roman because you don't do that anywhere else. We talked a lot about this last week with Tom on what would be the best scenario. The problem with, and he and I said, and I'll say this right now. I think WrestleMania Night 2 main event still should be Cody and Roman. I think you've
Yep.
done this for a year. Do you have Rock and Roman, which would be maybe the biggest match you could possibly have in the company over the last several years? Do you have that in Australia, which goes out at 1:30 in the morning on
Yeah.
Peacock? There was we basically had the argument was like, this is not Vince McMahon's WWE where he wants these are global eyes, and maybe somewhere Nick Khan is thinking, hey, the fans that are with us are going to get up and watch it because it's one day a year we're asking for it, and if they're not, this will be the first thing they watch when they wake up at 8 in the morning. We're all good. The Rock's got to fit us in our schedule because he's making movies. Like I don't know, we don't know anything about the discussions. We don't know Rock's movie schedule. We don't know, but if April is the only time Rock's available, they got to find a way to do it at WrestleMania. If The Rock said, "Hey, I can do February, and I'm only going to train this much," Rock gave a lot of bad excuses last year in that interview on College Game Day as to why Roman and him didn't happen last year, and it had to do with Rock saying, I need to be in the right position to tell the best story." I don't know if that's Rock's main concern. I mean, Rock's main story, none of Rock's priorities probably are WWE anymore. So this is sort of a one-off. But man, I tell you, but where are they going to be in the summer of 2024? I mean, so you really want to ramp up. I mean, the Bloodline storyline has been sort of flatlined for a while,
Yes.
mostly
Yes.
because Roman just hasn't been there. Jay, the Sammy stuff ended, and that there hasn't been any other defection or anyone worthy to really step up. Part of that could be by design. Let me ask you this: do you think there is part of a WWE plan to have Roman carry through WrestleMania and go after this Hogan streak? Some people put a lot of credence in that.
No.
I don't really want to see it. I don't know why you would want to really creatively go in that direction just for some sort of arbitrary made up number. They're going to celebrate Hogan apparently in a couple of weeks. It's the 40-year anniversary of Hulkamania. If you need to do that, get it out of your system and then put it to bed. I don't think this title reign breaking that number is important enough to mess with all these plans and all these moving parts. So I mean, there's still a large contingent that said Roman's gonna walk out of WrestleMania because he's the number one draw. I don't know. Is he the number one draw?
Is he still
Still,
the number one draw?
I
Because
don't.
now you got Punk and Cody. Cody draws.
Cody's the
Cody
number.
draws.
Cody's the number one face of the company, no doubt. If not, I mean, Punk's the number one merch mover right now, and just Roman hasn't been around. We don't know what Roman's plans are. Roman's had a couple of start and stops in Hollywood, but
Yep.
and if you wanted to go that route, there are probably ultimately opportunities available to him. But just if you've watched, you cited where we were a year ago. If you cited that a year ago, you were thinking Roman's beginning to lose everything. He's losing Sammy. He's losing Jay. This is setting us up for Cody taking his belt in WrestleMania last year. Didn't happen.
No.
But
No.
I mean, I think we're in for something different this year. I think the story will be completed. But man, how would you feel if you were Cody and they end up doing Rock and Roman at WrestleMania because that's the marquee match to put in the marquee card? It wouldn't be.
Oh,
It wouldn't be a bad decision. I mean, no one could. How could you criticize Rock versus Roman WrestleMania? The stars aligned. But how would you feel if you were Cody?
oh, if I was Cody, I'd be pissed. Like I didn't leave an EVP position to not get a title. I already wasn't going to get a title at my old place that I created. I'm
Right.
like, I'm not gonna get a title over here either, or I'm gonna take Seth's secondary title. Like, no, no, no. He came here for one reason only, and that's to win the title that his father never had a chance to.
Yeah, he's not doing it at WrestleMania 4. He's not. You're not going to have him and the universe sit for another year. I just can't.
No,
I just can't see it.
no.
Because I mean, another reason is you've got some guys who are also ready to challenge for the world title, who are ready to move up to another notch. And I'm talking about Gunther. You
Oh
know,
yeah,
Gunther's been an amazing Intercontinental Champion.
he has.
He's off TV right now because he just became a father. So I think they gave him
Hmm.
a couple weeks off. Congratulations to Gunther and his lady. What's her name? She's in NXT. Names escape me right now.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I
Um,
mean, we were talking about it last week. Like I'll ask you this: Gunther has run through everybody.
yep.
He set the title record. It's not a question of like who's left to challenge Gunther. It's who's worthy at this point to dethrone Gunther. So I'll ask you that: who is worthy at this point? And we've got Royal Rumble, which I assume he'll be in probably.
Hmm.
Um, Elimination Chamber, WrestleMania. After that, man, I want to see Gunther in a world title picture by by post WrestleMania. If he was the one who came out to challenge challenge Cody night for WrestleMania, I'd be just fine with that. So, what do you think? Who is ready and who's worthy to dethrone Gunther?
I'm gonna give two names.
Mhm.
The first name is going to be the obvious name. The second name is going to be the most offhanded, like not even offhanded, the most outrageous. And it's probably not going to be done, but it'll be epic if it did. All right, the obvious answer is Chad Gable. They've been building him up to beat Gunther, and it's going to happen at WrestleMania. That's the
Wow.
obvious answer. That's the
Okay.
obvious.
Okay. Okay.
The
Chad Gable.
off,
Chad seems. I'll just say Chad seems a little bit like I was down with you like a month or two ago when he faced him. Like I thought that was kind of the time to strike. They've sort of been away from each other for a while, but I could see it coming back. Okay, so the obvious choice is Chad Gable losing at having a WrestleMania moment, defeating Gunther. Who's the off the wall
yep.
pick?
I wish Dunn was here. I can get a crash zoom right quick, but Kazuchika Okada
And
at WrestleMania.
that's not as crazy. That's not as off the wall crazy. If you're sort of like in the know and know about free agents and know about that, like, yes, like oh man, I'd be all for that. He opens, he comes up a little short in Royal Rumble, probably gets eliminated toward the end, puts another performance, defeats throw wrestling, defeats Chad Gable at a elimination chamber in a tough fight, issues an open challenge for WrestleMania, and out comes Gucci Okada. Man, you've had Ty. Man, I hope you're speaking words of truth, power to truth there, man. He is probably, the number one free agent on the male talent side that's currently, that everyone knows is out there.
Hmm.
Um, Triple H has been trying to build some bridges in
Oh,
Japan recently. I mean, I'm sure he's doing it for a while, but there's been more noise about it. Let's turn a little bit to that. I'd love it if Okada's be a free agent. A lot of his pals are in AEW. AEW has a current working relationship with New
hmm.
Japan. Like, who knows how in depth or exclusive it really goes. Triple H wants to make more inroads over there for talent and viewership and business. Nick Khan is, I'm sure, all gangbusters for it. There have been overtures to All Japan. But New Japan's like that's the big name. That's the biggest name over there.
Yes.
Can Triple H pry New Japan away from AEW, and would New Japan do that to AEW because they've had a great relationship for a couple years? And that's sort of subset to whether or not Okada signs, because Okada's a free agent. That's sort of different entirely.
See, but the thing is, from the rumors and that what we're hearing is that there's about to be another talent exodus from New Japan.
Hmm.
If they lose Okada, Drilla Mahoney, he's working on. I mean, him and Gabe Kidd are both working off of a handshake deal right now. Tama Tonga's gone. He's gone in a month. He said it. He lives in Florida. He's not going to, and he said he want to be closer to his family. That
Yep.
means he's not going to be going to WWE with that work schedule. He's going to go to AEW.
Yep.
And how and why were New Japan sour on AEW the first time? Cody.
Yeah.
Omega. The Bucks. Adam Page.
Mm-hmm.
Who else? Was it? Was going to be Marty Starks before he. Marty Scurll before he destroyed his entire life.
Yep.
Just about everybody on that roster is basically from New Japan, and it took Rocky Romero to build that right back up.
I know, right? And they're about. I mean, AEW is about to get Will Ospreay, in a month, which is going to be epic. But if seeing that exodus. If you're Triple H and you got money that you want to throw out, you got to divert as much as you can to try to lock up Okada. And I think they will get. I think Okada will be in WWE in 2024. And if you're gonna debut him in the manner that you're suggesting, which basically immediately makes him one of your top stars, because not everyone in the universe is going to know who he is. They'll have to build him up a little bit, but there's no kind of better way to show how important he can be, which he comes out of the gate and wins a title at WrestleMania. You have to pay attention to him if you are going to do that to him. So
and let's face it, AEW is not in the best. I mean, they're doing better. They're doing better now, but they're not in the best booking.
Well, I mean,
right now,
AEW should have. I mean, there so much gets talked about them online, and Tony Khan seems to have no problem responding to everyone who talks about it too, because and that's sort of what blew up on Twitter today. Tony Khan and of all people, Eric Bischoff got into a Twitter tete-a-tete early today about things, which is, I'm all for being proud of your company. I'm all for defending yourself, online about your company. I mean, I would have loved to have seen Eric Bischoff and Vince McMahon if they had Twitter back in 1997 when they were invading each other's arenas, and all that stuff. I saw someone online today. I think it was Matt Kuhn that said if Fritz von Erich had Twitter back in the day, he would have used it to insult his kids. So. But yeah, no, I think AEW is doing fine. Here's what I'll say, and this is I'll tee it up for this topic to you. Triple H has lost out consistently the last 12 to 16 months on free agent talent to AEW. Since Cody joined WWE, they had a big get with Jade Cargill, who, has not yet appeared, but I don't think that's a creative issue.
Nah.
She arrived, she showed up at the Perform Center, and they said, "Oh, you haven't learned how to wrestle yet," So, but cool. Jade's gonna be huge. I think she could be. I guess they're probably saving her for the day after WrestleMania, but I'd like to see. I'd like to see her get in the mix a little sooner. But yeah. But I mean, Will Ospreay, WWE was going after, didn't get him. Jay White, they were going after him. They didn't get him. They lost it. They lost Adam Copeland to AEW, but I think that was a mutual decision. That wasn't a free agent loss. There's another name that they, Well, the other name hasn't been verified yet, but
Mercedes
most
Moné.
most of wrestling Twitter journalists are predicting that Mercedes Moné signs and shows up to AEW as early as tomorrow. AEW is back at their home turf, Daly's Place, tomorrow for Dynamite, and coming off the Continental Classic. Tony needs to build on this momentum. He doesn't have some of his marquee talent right now. He knows that his chief competitor, as he sees them, is entering their hot season. He needs to make some splashes too. So the word is he's offering Mercedes Moné 5 years, $25 million.
Yep.
But I don't know if that number, who knows if that number's right. Like I said, I think in our group chat, I've never seen a wrestling contract with the years and numbers ever released before. Like that just doesn't, it's not like baseball and football and other sports. So who knows if that's what it is. Is AEW though the best place for Mercedes Moné?
Money wise, yes. Story wise, we'll play. Money wise, yes. Wrestling, yes, because she gets to do her own style. Which, and for the fans, yes, because one of those people that didn't want to see her go right back to WWE. Like we got the world tour of Mercedes Moné got cut short because she got hurt.
Yeah.
So I want her to continue on with that. But you remember how big of a get Soraya was? What's she doing?
Not much of anything.
No. Remember that big get that with Awesome Kong, big get that at Rio, big get that Athena, though she's doing big things in ROH. If you just watch AEW, do you know if
Nope. No, there was a time when we thought like they were featuring ROH too much, and now I'm just like, why don't you show some ROH talent like you used to? Because people have forgotten who someone. So I mean, Tony gets a lot of criticism for how he books the women's division and how he books the men's division too. But yeah, especially how he books and puts a lack of emphasis on the women. I don't see it quite as bad as a lot of people think, because I think people like Chris Statlander has gotten a lot of great exposure. Toni Storm is one of the better female talents on television right now, but
Julia Hart is phenomenal.
Yeah, phenomenal.
They got me to care about Abaddon. Nobody cares about Abaddon.
I love Abaddon. She's fantastic. Yeah, I mean, Julia Hart has been sort of like that Rhea Ripley character, not quite as dominant, but leading a dark fashion. WWE is doing pretty well to fantastic with their women. And talking about, there's two names I'll throw at you that could really help Triple H turn that tide as far as free agent signings. Rumors about Julia from Japan. She was in Stardom, or was she in
Stardom?
New Japan? Yeah, Stardom.
New Japan owns Stardom, but yes, she was in Stardom.
She's terrific. She's terrific. And if they bring her in, oh man, I mean, we should never discount the fantastic women who they have with Bayley and Io Shirai. Dakota Kai is going to return from injury. Chelsea Green's been fun, but Becky Lynch. I am a big critic of Nia Jax. I thought it was silly to bring her back, but man,
it's been great. Nia Jax has been great.
She's been pretty good. Now, my hope is, and I think, I was surprised that she got the win versus Becky last week, and it looks like she'll be a future challenger to Rhea Ripley. I'd like to see that done. That does not have to be WrestleMania. She does not have to win the Royal Rumble. I haven't given too much thought into how the women's Royal Rumble is going to go, at least for, how it's going to impact Rhea Ripley. But, my hope for Nia Jax is that when she came back, ultimately she's going to bully everybody, but ultimately she'll be the first person that Jade Cargill dismantles. I think that would establish
Oh yeah.
Jade really well if
Oh yeah.
Nia does all this, maybe even comes out on the, ends up coming back and maybe Becky doesn't get over on Nia and Nia goes through a couple others, and how they debut Jade Cargill is enough of this shit, Tony, like she used to say in AEW, and she comes out and vanquishes Nia Jax. That would end up, if that was it and they wrote Nia off, that'd have been a great return run for Nia. I think that'd have been fantastic, but no reason not to keep her around too. But Julia, and let me give you another name. You know Camille from NWA.
I'm about to say, yeah. Camille is in talks of being, if not already signed, or going to be signed.
If you've got Camille and Julia and Jade Cargill entering the women's division in 2024, man, that really puts them levels above whatever you're going to end up. Even, I mean, you got to look back. AEW is going to have Mercedes Moné to compete with that.
But the thing is, we're forgetting another name, another return.
Let's hear it.
Trinity Fatu. She's coming back.
She is.
Naomi is coming back. That is, I'm sorry, they're stacked. And we're forgetting Kairi Sane's still there. Like
Liv Morgan's going to come back.
Liv Morgan's going to be back by that time. Like that division is going to be completely and utterly stacked. And yes, you're going to need Moné.
But like, is that going to diminish Moné's? The women's division in both organizations seem primed to have big years. Why am I still feeling like it's going to get bungled somehow? I mean, there's been too many years of just not having the right emphasis on it, not being done the right way, maybe not having women in creative, but like, wouldn't Mercedes Moné see that and go, God, if I want the exposure that I kind of want to have, it's going to get lost in the shuffle when Raw and SmackDown are both doing 2 million plus a night.
I don't think so, because Mercedes Moné moves the needle. Like, she's going to bring people in, especially if they treat her like Britt Baker, especially if they treat her like Jade when she was there.
Yeah. If
you treat her like that, and can you imagine Hikaru Shida versus Mercedes Moné?
That's an all-in co-main event. That's an all-in co-main event right there.
And the thing is, the only thing that Tony needs to do is not give it away on free TV. That's his biggest problem. He gives away too much stuff on free TV. Just don't do it. Just don't do it.
Does Tony have who's able to get in Tony's head these days, do you think, and give him any sort of advice? I mean,
that's the problem. There is no one.
I mean, no one. I guess Bruce could get into Vince's ear, but Vince didn't listen to anybody either. But like in that sense, usually it's still kind of worked out pretty well. TK's got to have a better team around him. He's got to delegate some more. We've talked about that for ages, but sometimes I think, as much as I love AEW, sometimes they just can't get out of their own ways sometimes, and they're just perpetually, some of their challenges have been not of their own making necessarily, but like, I want them to succeed. I always do, but right now I
need them to succeed. I need them to succeed. But I think that a lot of people, because of the success they got, ahead of time. Is the company even 5 years old yet? Is it 6 years old yet?
It's definitely not 6 years old. I think we're just beginning the 5th year. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is new. It's going to have, and again, if you want to when I get all worried about it, I just think, dude, you're going to have Will Ospreay in like 6 weeks. You're going to have MJF at some point, because I firmly believe MJF has re-signed with AEW already, and he's getting some time off post this run. B, he's banged up. But I mean, I still see MJF as a top 3 performer in the business right now, and I just think he concluded I was not. I loved the babyface run that MJF had the last several months. When he was a unbelievable heel, we sat and talked about just how that's just because of how good he is. And you know what? When they decide to give him a face run, whenever that is, he's going to be great at that too because he is exactly what he says he is. He's a generational talent, and I loved the face run, even though it started off, the Adam Cole injury, I think, caused them to change plans,
They
but
had to, yeah.
because it was when he started this face run, you could tell it was just dripping with insincerity,
Hmm.
and Max was gonna screw over Adam, and it was gonna be the same old Max, and that's what everyone assumed. And then maybe the injury, what it was, and they realized, oh, we all were like, oh shit, it's gonna be the opposite. They're gonna keep him this face and have Cole, and that's eventually. It took a while, but eventually, that's what eventually happened. Um, but I tell you, I still believe that when NJ comes back, he's gonna be the heel in this in the end too, I think. But that's probably
I
for way down in 2024.
Yeah.
This whole devil reveal, it got a little messed up because Cole got legitimately hurt, and this is sort of how they fixed it. And I don't know, but like at the end of this, Cole MJF 2, whenever that comes back around, there could be a while because someone's going to dethrone Swerve Strickland, I think, some point, later this year. But MJF will be
Yes.
will be the bad guy. Are you ready for us for a Swerve Strickland title run? Do you think that's what we're headed towards in AEW?
I pray not. I pray
You
not.
pray not. What's your what? Oh, new topic. Swerve Strickland. Ty, you're down on him. Yeah, I think I see superstar all over him. What say you?
I see a subpar talker with a finish, and I said it before. I'll say it again. A pale comparison to Chris Bay.
Hmm.
Chris
Hmm.
Bay has charisma dripping off of him,
He
and he
does.
doesn't even have to try.
He does. There's no doubt about that. There's no doubt
I
about
don't
that.
know if I'm gonna get is Swerve a axe murderer? Is he a rapper? Is
Hmm.
he a mogul affiliates? Like, what is even that even doing for anyone? Is doing nothing for anyone. Um, the only reason that he's over is because of his pressure theme song and Prince Nana dancing.
Yeah, I mean that's
Like I don't see what everyone else sees in Swerve. I really don't. I don't.
entry.
I just don't.
He had a banger with Hangman Adam Page though. It was violent.
But is that more so on how good he is, or how good Adam is, or is that indicative of Swerve? Like, what other feud have you seen or match, anything have you seen with Swerve is like, you know what? Before Adam, like, you know what? Swerve's a star in AEW.
Oh,
I
before that, he was quite lost. Quite got very lost in the shuffle, if you ask me.
exactly.
Yep. Yep.
We had the
So
Keith Lee feud that never ends.
could be. I mean,
It's
one could say could be credit to him for making himself or making Tony believe in it. But yeah, we got sidetracked with Swerve. But yeah, I mean, just this all this stuff just goes to show. And again, sometimes when I'm on here giving these takes, I'm kind of arguing with everybody I see online because Twitter has become very tribal,
yeah.
very toxic. Could have a lot to do with who's running the show over there at Twitter. But I digress. Like I've said this many times. If you're not, Tony Khan's accountant, or you're not an executive for Time Warner, why do you care what the viewership is? Now, you want the viewership to be enough that the product stays on television. I mean,
Yes.
obviously that stays, and that I think is both companies right now have yet to lock down deals. And I think every week that goes by, it becomes a bigger issue for AEW than it does WWE. But they both need to lock something in. Um, you know, we're getting kind of close to the top of the hour, but I want to ask you this: do you have an opinion on where these TV deals go, where you're going to see this stuff, what will be the best fit for the companies. Because just as long as they're on television, if Dynamite's getting 450,000 viewers or 850,000 viewers, by all accounts, WB Warner Bros. Discovery has been satisfied with these numbers. I hope in the upcoming year they start maybe downsizing the size of their buildings because it looks better on television. But again, that the money being spent to produce AEW is not my concern whatsoever. I don't care. I want to be entertained. Fans should want to be entertained and want good products that they can see. Short of that, we shouldn't worry about who's doing better, who's doing what, and I just think a lot of wrestling fans have sort of lost their way in having to pit one versus the other. Do you have a thought on tribalism and what ultimately we can do to get past it?
Tribalism, I think, it's a. I
I
mean,
want
it
to
is
ask
what
you
it is.
because the stuff you love isn't even on TV. You love a lot of
No, it's not.
that's the
Yeah.
yeah. So what just you? I mean, what do you think?
It's so the thing about tribalism, especially with wrestling, is always been there. During if you weren't a WWF guy, you were a WCW guy, or you were an ECW guy, or you like the Smoky Mountain wrestling or something like that. If
I
you
grew
are
up. I grew
hardcore,
up in I was an NWA WCW guy.
see, and the problem is that the anonymity, there we go, of being behind an avatar on your screen, thinking that everyone's going to agree with you and be in an echo chamber. It is, but we should want as many wrestling federations as we can get. If TNA is doing great, guess what? That's an alternative to go to. If AEW is doing great, guess what's going to be better? By proxy, WWE is going to get better. If ROH ever finds a TV deal, then it's going to be great for wrestling. Like New Japan is trying to make a push over here. It's on. I mean, if you can catch a New Japan show, you're going to see a lot of tag team wrestling. I mean, that's just what it is. The regular shows is a bunch of tag team wrestling, so everyone can stay healthy. But it comes on at 2, 3 a.m. on Fox.
Yeah.
If you can catch that, it is great to watch because it's an alternative. You get to see a different style of wrestling.
And again, a lot of these guys who are on those shows, if you where you find them online or wherever or an MLW, or those are stars that you're going to eventually see. Don't you want to be able to say, "Oh yeah, man, that guy that was on that MLW show," or the WoW show that I saw on the CW at 4 a.m. on Tuesday. Remember when we saw her on that, or we went to that WoW show that was in town, that cost $2 to see, and we saw someone who becomes a superstar.
The superstar, yes, you want that journey that they're getting up to the top. But I will say for the people who are open to tribalism when I was originally on the show, I joked, I prodded Miss Heels for AEW. I actually like AEW for real. I just like getting a rise out of her because she hated WWE
and still does. Refuses to watch. I know we can say whatever we want about Megan because there's no way she's watching this show because we talked WWE on Tuesday.
We love you. We love you.
We love Heels. Love Heels. Miss Heels. What's on your 2024 calendar? Are you looking to take in any wrestling? You got anything really that you're seeing on the horizon that you're really looking forward to? I mean, obviously WrestleMania. You want to see how that shakes out.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to watch that. But what do you think about Australia? I mean, Australia, just Germany in 2024. Are you someone who's going to get up early and watch the PLE from Australia at 2 a.m, or are you going to catch it the next day?
No. It's going to be next day. It's going to be earlier. I mean, later on that day. I didn't even do it for Wrestle Kingdom this year. So, I mean, the biggest thing I'm looking for in 2024 is a few things. I am looking forward to David Finlay being kicked out of Bullet Club.
that is definitely going to happen.
Oh my goodness, he's just so boring. I am looking forward to Will Ospreay
Oh yeah.
getting the treatment that Jay White wished he got when he first got there.
Absolutely, absolutely. You're a good person to ask this. I was looking on doing a little research. Osprey and White never really had a proper feud in New Japan.
Never,
They
never.
wrestled in Ring of Honor before.
Yeah.
They were involved in a couple of tag team matches, and I'm sure they faced off at least once, but they never really had a feud.
Have they even faced off really once? No, Will Ospreay
Maybe
and Jay White have never really had like a real one-on-one match. And none of the G1s, no, they haven't actually had a match even with that. And
that's what I'm looking forward to in 2020.
oh,
And I am a huge. I really
bang
thought
bang gang.
I thought the Jay White we were seeing taunting MJF was going to be far more involved in the conclusion of that storyline than they ended up being. I mean, Max kind of vanquished him, and now now Jay White seemingly is the losing juice took a lot of pun intended juice
Losing
out of
juice, yeah.
that
Yeah.
program, but Jay White I think is another one who's in for a big 2024. I think having Jay White and Will Ospreay in the same roster is just nothing but money, especially when you want to try to grab a lot of that not only international talent but international viewers. Those two are stars.
Yes, yes. I am also looking forward to the reemergence of Moose in TNA in 2024.
TNA is getting some steam, some momentum. Where has that come from?
TNA has been a good show for the past 2 years. It's just, if you have a banging show or if a tree falls in the woods and no one's there to hear it, is anyone listening? No. I mean,
It doesn't have a marquee national world recognized name because there's no one of significance that was featured in WWE for many years
hmm
that can draw people to them too. That's a lot of people see that as a negative, and in some ways it is a negative, but that's also just like doing it that way, doing it their way. There's something to be said for that too. They've had lots of WWE talent
they
over the
have.
years. Guess what? That flamed out in spectacular fashion.
Yeah.
But when they sort of get back to your roots, like it's worked. AEW, I think, is a hybrid of both of those. They have a lot of WWE marquee talent, obviously, that draws names. So much so that they don't all get used properly. Thank goodness Christian Cage has been used properly.
Christian Cage is just
Number one heel in wrestling, isn't he?
he's either number one or two from Dirty Dom from Penitentiary Dom. But no, Christian is, I don't know what kind of, whose idea was it for the patriarchy? Was it his? Was it Adam? I don't know, but I love it.
It's
I
so good.
love
It's so good. You you mentioned we're jumping around a bunch, but let's close the show because of somebody you just mentioned, Dirty Dom. He's had a fantastic year. It's been amazing. So let me just ask you this: we have followed this Judgment Day faction for a couple years now. Started with
Mhm.
Edge. It became Finn's Judgment Day. Then it
Mhm.
became Rhea's Judgment Day.
Mhm.
Then it became Damien's Judgment Day, kind of for like a couple of minutes. And I guess maybe in some way it still is, although it still kind of feels like it's back to being Rhea's Judgment Day. Um, they've been sort of like micro teasing dissension amongst members. They've created this mini bloodline storyline with R-Truth the last few weeks only, and it's been fantastic.
Yep.
R-Truth is a national treasure. JD McDonough has been an interesting play along. I think he's a good person. He's sort of like the Wheeler Yuta of Judgment Day a little bit. Good things don't last forever. How do you see this faction winding down? Or maybe the question is like, who do you see being thrown out or taking over? I can't put my finger on who goes where in this when they undoubtedly cost someone a briefcase, cost someone the titles, Rhea and Dom go. What's your prediction as we get to the top of the hour of the fate of the Judgment Day?
Judgment Day is. Let's put it like this. I'm gonna throw it out there. Prediction King is talking. Damian Priest is going to have a failed cash in. He's going to have the second longest, other than Seth Rollins, holding the briefcase. He's going to try to cash it in once Cody wins the title from Roman. And JD McDonough and Finn Balor are going to ruin it for him.
It's a big spot to put Damian in WrestleMania, and you put him in that spot.
That's the only. It's either that or you're going to have to take that briefcase off of him. Money in the Bank is coming.
We talked about we did talk about last week. It's like, what do you do with this money cashing between The Rock and Cody and Punk? Like, where does this cash in fit on? It's like too many balls in the air, and yeah, I mean, the best thing to have it do now would be to use it in a way that creates the first crack in the Judgment Day, wall, and
yeah.
Do you think Priest goes out as a face because of that, or
he has to, because he's the whole R-Truth thing. He's enjoying it. No one else is. He's gearing up for that face turn kind of thing. JD McDonough and Finn Balor, they're going to go off on their little thing, probably stay with the Judgment Day or something like that. But I don't think Damian, because Damian and Rhea are button heads.
Right.
Damian thinks that he is the leader of Judgment Day, so I think it's going to be like that. And look, we got Cheats inside there.
Our producer Cheats has joined us. He's obviously got a Dom take in the waning moments.
I don't. I have a general fundamental question. I don't want to ruin the flow of the show, but I have a general fundamental question since we don't know when we'll see Ty again.
All right.
And I do think it fits into the theme of what you guys are talking about in general, just like kind of direction, big programs, overall like state of wrestling. My question is this. It seems as if Tony Khan has made a decision that he's going to counter program what AEW is versus WWE in a way that he's going to highlight these New Japan style tournaments and try to make them really big deals. We just went through one really, I mean, it was cool, but we went through a really long tournament over on the AEW side where there was not that many storylines, but much more about who was going to come out of the gold bracket, who was going to come out of, was it the silver bracket or whatever. My question overall is, do we think that is a winning strategy to counter program what we know WWE is going to do with like long-term storytelling and the, more of the traditional narratives? Do we think that like AEW can get real kind of ground and status behind a more of a tournament base? Let's focus on like matches with clean finishes.
No, just straight up no. Just because WWE has tried that, and people got tired of all these tournaments. Like, when's the last best tournament you've seen from WWE?
It's over in NXT. It's over in NXT, like the Dusty Rose, the Mae Young. Yeah.
Yep. But on like the main roster, you don't really have that at all. And I don't think I love tournaments. I absolutely love tournaments.
But we're part of a finite group.
We are. And AEW, if they already got rid of the one thing that made them head and shoulders above and different from WWE with their ranking system, that means nothing now. Wins and losses,
they flash there what it is, but it means nothing.
Means nothing. So right now they're either trying to go hard on the storylines a little too hard and be WWE light, or they're going to just lean on tournaments so hard that you're going to tune people out. Like, you can't always get a number one contender. You can't always get a new belt. Well, Tony Khan can, because he just loves
Tony
New
has
belts.
Tony has belts laying all around his house. He's waiting to release. He has said so himself.
So, but you can't keep on just doing a tournament, doing a tournament, doing a tournament, doing a tournament, doing a tournament. Like people get. There's a reason why the NFL playoffs is the only like, and the playoffs for big sports is only one of them, and the
March
play-in
Madness,
tournament,
right?
yeah, March
It's only
Madness,
one March
but
Madness.
exactly, and the play-in tournament was for NBA was what did that get you?
It got you about 3-12 after you won it. You know, that's what it got you so far.
Spicy.
I mean, it got you a banner and 3-12. That's what it got you. But yeah, I mean, I think you're right. Like that, if you are putting on internet pay-per-views once a month, tournaments are friggin' cool, you know. But if you're
Hmm.
trying to get, you know, WBD to sign you up for a couple $100 million, you got to come with a product that I mean, it's just the fact of the matter, because for many, many years, wrestling's been one product on television, and before that, it was still kind of two products on. It's been
Hmm.
one template. And like it or not, to mass appeal is some semblance of that rather
Yep.
than what it is in New Japan. You know, but I love it. You love it. If it's on my television, I don't want it to really change, but I want it to be a healthy mix between the two, because that's what will generate the most viewers, which generates the most revenue, which allows people to grow and for the product to remain hot, in my
Hmm.
opinion.
And
Whatever.
AEW got too many tournaments. It's like they got too many belts right now. The Owen Classic, this class, it's too many.
Whatever happens in the wrestling world, we're going to be here every week to cover it. Ty, will you try not to make it, 3-4 months before you come back? We'd love to have you. You left the show at one point because you were getting jobs. But I follow you on socials. You still looks like you're busier now than you've ever been before. Anything you want to promote?
Yes, guys, I will be back more so on this show. I
Love
will
it.
make it a concerted effort to be on the show more. But the Capsule Collective podcast is also coming back.
There we go. Breaking news.
And whew, we're still on the way to opening up Richmond's first black-owned brewery.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we got a lot of stuff coming in 2024. Can't give it all, but it's going to be bigger, badder, and more craziness on there. And the last thing I do want to say, I want to wish my sister, Nikki Murdaugh, happy birthday. I'm not going to say how old she is because she'll kill me if she sees this. But happy birthday, Nikki. I love you.
Happy birthday, Nikki. She is part of a great family. You're part of a great family. Quick shout out to myself. I wore this shirt tonight. Wrestling Club.
Yeah.
Wallflower Perry, Victor Perry from the Kip Academy in Brooklyn. They were in the news this week. They've got the wrestling. Everyone who follows wrestling online knows about Victor. He is Wrestling Club in New York. They get to go to the big WWE shows now. They get to go to AEW shows when they're around. He's made all sorts of great connections because he's making such a great impact in his community for his school with these kids. Cody Rhodes saw his post a week or two ago about them raising money to go to WrestleMania this year in Philly. Victor got to take some kids to Cali last year for WrestleMania, and since they're close to New York, he's bringing more kids this year. Cody Rhodes said, "Stop fundraising. I got your tickets. I got your hotel rooms." Cody's hooking up the wrestling club with tickets to WrestleMania this year. So, and that generated some. That I saw an article about it on the People magazine website. So, mainstream. We love seeing it. Friend of the show, Victor. Congratulations to him. Congratulations to the club for those tickets. Huge. Just a quick last thing. There's going to be a wrestling event in Richmond. We haven't said that in a long time. RVA Wrestling returning to Hardywood Brewery on February 2nd. I think the main event's been announced, but I have a contact at Hardywood, and I'm going to reach out to them because I'd like to cover that event for Wrestling Chat with Friends. So look for some more promotion. Look for maybe the promoter, the owner, the marketing guy at Hardywood's, and even maybe a talent or two to appear on this show in the week leading up to that event, February 2nd at Hardywood. RVA Wrestling, support your local wrestling wherever you are, and support us. Follow us on Twitter at WCWF Pod. Follow our group page on Facebook, Wrestling Chat with Friends, the group. Follow us on YouTube, Wrestling Chat with Friends. You can see this show, all of our past shows on there. Ty, great to have you back, man. Thank you. Excellent takes as always. Shout out to all our friends, Tom, Kelsey, Megan for Cheats. I'm EJ the Collector. We're tapping out. We don't ring the bell on this show. We tap out. We're out for this week, guys. We'll see you next week in Wrestling.